Okay, I'd like to call to order City of Chicago Board of Public Works meeting for March 12, 2014. Roll call.
Val Gomez.
Present.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Present.
Carla Morgan.
Present.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have the minutes from the regular meeting of February 12, 2014. Entertain a motion we accept as written.
So move.
Second.
Roll call.
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have the minutes for the special meeting of February 21st. Entertain a motion we accept as written.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Next, we have the minutes for the regular meeting of Wednesday, February 26th. Can I entertain a motion to accept as written?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, are there any correspondence?
There are none.
Okay. We'll move on to new business. First thing on the agenda is a recommendation for demolition of vacant properties, Phase 1. And this is from City Engineer.
Yeah, you want me to explain it? There's a letter in your package with a summary of the demolition. So we receive four bidders who made prices for this project. This project consists of demolition of 28 properties. There are 5 different groups. Here's a breakdown for each group and each bidder with the prices. And when I mentioned that during the last meeting, there was a company that JM Industrial, they did not submit the base bid and award criteria for all individual groups. He just submit one base bid and award criteria for all the groups. However, this was not necessary to the lowest bid was less than $100,000. Also, during the bid opening, it was not disclosed the bids per each group. However, this company submit the basis of bid for all the groups, and there's a copy. I don't know. It should be here, but so group number 1, the lowest bidder was the company Acting. They were the lowest and the most responsive bidder. They complied with all the requirements. The lowest bid for this group was $47,080. Group number 2, the lowest bidder was JM Industrial with the total amount of $52,585. They were the lowest and most responsive bidders. Group number 3, the lowest bidder was Acting. The total amount was $50,820. Group number 4, lowest bidder, JM Industrial, $84,640. And group number 5, Acting, was the lowest bidder with the total amount of $42,759.75. So in all the groups, the lowest bidders submit the minimum requirements, and basically that's my recommendation to this board as far groups and demolition.
What's the timetable? I assume you want us to accept the low bidders for each group today, and then when do you want us to do the notice to proceed?
Well, before we issue notice to proceed, we have to make sure we have had to work together with building department, make sure that we need to contact NIPSCO. I believe that the building commission already contacted NIPSCO. So we need to disconnect, all the utilities. So I don't want to make recommendation for notice to proceed until we resolve those internal matters. So otherwise, the contractor won't be able to start, and they only have 60 days. So I hope by the next regular meeting we'll be ready to issue notice to proceed. That's the goal.
Okay.
So what action are we asking for today to approve?
Let's approve the low bidder.
Low bidders?
The low bidder, so we can proceed, and also we need
Okay.
to, get the PO for this amount, make sure that we have the money.
Should we do it group by group?
Yes.
Okay.
We have to do each group.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do it fast.
Okay, then we'll go group by group. So for group one, I entertain a motion that we accept Acton as the lowest bidder for the amount of $47,080.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, for group two, we had J&M Industrial at $52,585. Entertain a motion that we accept them as the lowest bidder for group two.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
For group three, Acton was the lowest bidder for the amount of $50,820. Entertain a motion we accept them as the lowest bidder.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
For group four, J&M Industrial was the lowest bidder for the amount of $84,640. Entertain a motion we accept them as the lowest bidder.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
For group five, Acton was the lowest bidder for the amount of $42,759.75. Entertain a motion we accept them.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay. Next on the agenda, we have permission to advertise for the Main Street reconstruction project. I think this just requires a verbal approval.
Yeah, this is just permission from this board to move forward with this project and advertise this project. Our goal is to open bids April 9. So this permission will let engineering and to start the advertisement. We need to advertise this project twice. So we need to get this permission to just start advertising and have the pre-bid meeting, and so
Okay.
and hopefully we'll hit that day.
Any further questions or comments?
No.
Entertain a motion for permission to advertise for the Main Street reconstruction project.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have from the fire department, several service maintenance and price quotations.
Skip one.
Let me see if I have them in order here.
Yeah, I think you skip one item.
Which
it's
one?
145th reconstruction.
Oh, sorry. You're right. Next on the agenda is 145th reconstruction bearing to Homerly agreement.
Yeah, I can explain that. This is an agreement between Hassie Construction and the Board of Public Works. I don't know you remember, but we already approved this project. We even have a PO for this project, and so this is like a typical contract saying, the contractor has 120 days, consecutive calendar days to finish the project, and total 150 consecutive calendar day. The 120 is for substantial completion, and another 30 days for final completion. And the contract established, the amount of the project, and also they have to submit the payment, performance bonds, insurance, and everything. So attached, you want to see all insurance and bonds. And
Okay.
a
And
lot of information that they submitted with the bids. Project limits will be from Bering to Homerly, a little bit farther to Homerly. The project limit will be right away of, I believe, it's CSX tracks. So it's just a contract. By the next meeting, probably going to present a notice to proceed. So next regular meeting, we'll present the notice to proceed, and they can start anytime.
amount of the contract is $1,095,016.90. Any other questions or comments?
No.
Jess, any other comments?
Nope.
We entertain a motion that we approve the 145th Street reconstruction Barrington Northcott agreement or contract.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, now we come to the fire department.
There you go.
Okay, I don't know if we have,
Good evening, everyone.
I don't know if we have it all in the same order. Let me see.
Yeah, we had a few things for you.
I have the Hastings Air Energy Control,
Light items. Oh my gosh.
and this is a preventive maintenance program for the amount of $1,918.32. Chief, you want to explain a little bit about this one?
Hastings, what they do is they do the maintenance program on our exhaust extrication system for the fire trucks, so that when the fire trucks are backing up into the station, they get hooked up and that exhaust goes out of the building rather than stay inside the building. And it's just a preventive maintenance for that system that we have at our stations.
And this is the vendor that actually installed the equipment, right?
That's
So
correct.
it's a specialized vendor.
And they've been our preventive maintenance since forever, since we've had it.
Okay. We'll do each one, and then we'll make a motion on each one.
Okay.
So, any questions on this one, comments?
You're satisfied with the service?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion that we accept this service preventive maintenance program with Hastings Air Energy Control for the fire department for the amount of $1,918.32.
So moved.
Second it.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have Firehouse Software Support Maintenance Contract Agreement for the amount of, I don't see an amount here. Is this just per call, or?
No, that is actually the support maintenance agreement is to support the actual software program that we use. And I thought it was on here for $2,100 and some dollars. It was the same as last year's. It did not change. I see the first page of the agreement.
This is a yearly, something we, every
This
year-
is the exact same
This
thing we
is the
did last
software
year
the
at this
fire
time,
department has.
correct?
This is, the firehouses are software that they've had for quite a number of years, and it's something we do automatically every year.
If we approve it today, can you just double check?
Sure,
Let us know
absolutely.
if there are any changes, then let us know. If not,
I can
then-
tell you for a fact that there was not no changes. They actually sent me an increased amount. When I became chief, I lowered some things on here where we reduced the users. And we did that last year, and we lowered it by about $1,800 a year. And this year, they sent me the first one that they had sent, so I corrected them and had them sent the $2,100 one.
Okay. And just like the other one, they're the only provider for it, because this is their software, right?
That is correct. This is sole source.
Sole source, so, If there are any
And,
changes,
and if we can, for safety purposes, we can say that we agreed to this, provided that it's no higher than last year's amount,
Okay.
since there is no figure here, but I know it is the same as last year's.
but when you enter the PO, we will see the price on there. so-
That's correct.
Okay, any questions or comments?
No,
No
no.
question.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion that we accept the service support maintenance contract agreement with Firehouse Software for the fire department.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next we have 5 Alarm, First Jaws of Life Inspection and Maintenance Program for 2014 for the amount of estimated $1,350. And this also is a tool maintenance and prevention maintenance program with 5 Alarm Fire and Safety. This also is a yearly.
That is correct. Yeah, and what that does is they come in and they tune up all of the jaws of life and the cutters for vehicle extrication and make sure that our equipment is operating properly.
And they're also the sole source. of this
Correct.
equipment? Okay. Any questions on this one?
No.
No.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion that we accept Ursa Jaws Life Inspection and Maintenance Program for 2014 with 5 Alarm for the amount of $1,350.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next, we have Fire Service. After
Fire
this-
service is just a rate sheet. It's just where they give us their prices per hour to fix on a truck, and that's, when we get to fire service, we're gonna get to Global, and we're gonna get to NWI. Those are just rate sheets that we're asking for approval, that we can use those vendors as authorized vendors for the fire department.
Okay, any questions on this one?
No.
No.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion that we accept the service price sheet with Fire Service for the fire department.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have from UL. This is for the certification and inspection of fire emergency vehicles for the amount of $2,302.70.
Underwriters Laboratory comes out and certifies all of our ladders on the trucks, our platforms, and they do all of our ground ladders also to ensure that they are all ready and able to be in service.
And this is a yearly requirement.
That is also a yearly requirement by NFPA.
Any questions on this one?
Nope.
Comments? No? There be no questions or comments, or entertain a motion that we accept from UL this certification inspection testing for the amount of $2,302.70.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next on agenda is a fitness equipment preventive maintenance agreement with Fitness Experience for the amount of, for a total of $1,400 or $700 per visit. This is for a twice-a-year preventive maintenance program. And this is for all the exercise equipment we have in our stations.
That is correct, and that's a total of 4 stations, and there's a minimum of 4 machines in each stations. And they just come out, lubricate the belts, keep everything in working order.
Any questions or comments on this?
Just one. Does the police department use the same company, or you have no idea?
I have no idea what the police department does. We've used these folks because they were, when the program was first brought into the fire department, I think it was probably one of the best things that the fire department ever did, was introduce this fitness program to the men. And I think this company's been with us from the very beginning. And I have priced them out last year, and they're still the most reasonable. No one could beat their preventive maintenance price.
I don't think it would be the same company because we acquired our equipment after they did, several years after they
Okay.
acquired theirs.
I just
so-
remember last year some police officers mentioning stuff about some equipment needed to be replaced.
Right.
I have no idea if they have a similar thing, so. Anyway,
Yeah,
so-
I'm actually in the process of replacing some of ours. Some of ours is 10, 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
And that's one of the good things about the maintenance agreement. When they come, they look at it and they tell you this machine is obsolete, there's no more parts, and now you may have a this happened to me, I had a $900 repair. Well, the machine is $3,000 and it's 12 years old, it just makes sense to replace the machine. So we're slowly starting to do that. As they break down, we're just replacing them.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
No other questions.
Entertain a motion that we accept for the fire department the preventive maintenance agreement for their exercise equipment for the total $1,000 to $400 or $700 per visit.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have from Tri Electronics. This is also from the fire department.
Chief Perez.
Chief?
3 more items.
This is.
I'm sorry.
this is
Tri Electronics
basically-
rate sheet also.
This is a rate sheet for $99 an hour, labor. It's basically as needed,
Yes.
right?
As needed.
And this is for our radios,
Radios, if any of the vehicles, their sirens or,
any other questions or comments?
Nope. No.
Entertain a motion that we accept Tri Electronics hourly rates for service for the amount of $99 per hour for the fire department.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next we have from Global Preventive Maintenance Program, and this is also their rates in the event the fire department is going to require their services, right?
that's correct. And that'll be for mechanics for the fire trucks. The next two items are NWI and Global.
Any questions or comments on this?
No.
No questions.
Entertain a motion that we accept from Global the preventive maintenance programs for 2014 for the fire department.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, as the chief said, from NWI Fleet Maintenance, we have a similar price listing for emergency vehicle schedule for 2014. Any questions on this?
No.
Comments?
Nope.
Entertain a motion that we accept from NWI Fleet Maintenance Incorporated their emergency vehicle schedule, price schedule for 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Thank you
Okay,
again.
I think that's it.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on our agenda, we have outstanding invoices. These are invoices that we're trying to clear from 2013 that when the budget closed in December, some things weren't able to be completed for 13. And so we're trying to clear these up for the books. First we have is outstanding invoices for
STM, I think is for.
STM.
That's what I had first, which is,
How did I do that? Is that Meridian? No, Meridian's the last one, right?
yeah.
Somehow I got it mixed up. Let me see. Oh, here it is. STM. Okay, this is for STM. This was for the lawn maintenance program for the mayor's office, city hall, city annex. These go from June to November. The rate was $1,200 per month for these 3 locations. And I think on this one, it was a combination, not only the books closing, but also that the invoices were submitted late. So I entertain a motion that from June through December, for a monthly fee of $1,200, that we approved payment to STM for services that were already rendered.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have for Harris Law Firm. I mixed mine up.
The total for these, I believe, is $19,714. Invoices were submitted late. Honestly, I was not aware that they were doing work for the time periods of 2010 and 2011. I thought they had wrapped up things. So again, the bills total, I believe, $19,714.08 for the Harris Law Firm.
Do you have, so it's addition to this?
That's if you add those three together.
Oh, this is total.
Oh, well then, sorry about that.
We just have a savings right now.
So it's less than that. It's half that because
Okay, so the amount would be $9,857.04.
yeah.
And this is for the year 2011 and 2010. 2011, $6,047.04. 2010, $3,810. And this is for the law firm of Harris Law Firm. Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Entertain a motion that we approve the payment for outstanding invoices to Harris Law Firm for the amount of $9,857.04.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Next, we have Meridian Title. We have outstanding invoices from August 13 of 13 to the
Well, there were several invoices. I believe these are related to, we're perfecting the tax certificate titles. Invoices were dated August 2013, but they weren't received by the law department until November 2013, and I think that was actually very late November.
Okay, yeah, I'm catching this now.
Yeah, the
So-
total is the $22,570.
And this is for invoices numbered 65242 through 65744. So there are quite a bit of invoices here. So these are services that are performed in 13.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments?
No.
Entertain a motion that we approve payment to the Meridian Title for outstanding invoices numbered 65242 through 65744 for the amount of $22,570.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Let's see. Okay, that was taken care of already. Next on agenda, we have contract between the City of East Chicago and Tom Lumke? Did I pronounce that right?
I have no idea how to pronounce it. I can explain a little bit. Or are you familiar with it?
I met with Mr. Milton Reed, who's a consultant for the city. He gave me a quick little bit. Apparently he's an artist, and he's going to be doing some design work and conceptual work. If you have anything else around this? Or?
No, you are more familiar than me. I just wrote the form contract that goes with the scope of work.
Well, I know a little bit about this artist. We had a couple meetings, between part, engineering, multimedia. Even the mayor was one of those meetings. And this artist, also SEH, the city, is working with these people. They would like to construct a plaza, Main Street, 138 in Main Street, and part of the scope of this plaza, the city would like to put like a sculpture or something. So it was recommended to use this artist. He had experience. He's from the area, and I believe this that basically this is, we need to pay him for the services. So he's charging $8,000 for the work. He has done some work already, and we're still working on this project. So.
Okay, so it's to perform conceptual and design work for the project on Main Street for the plaza. You said, okay, I see the amount is for $8,000. And this contract has all our standard requirements?
Yeah, the not to exceed number is in there. The fact that he has to bill us and provide detailed billing statements. He's an independent contractor. The term is in there. It's the contract would run from March 4th, which is already passed, through the 14th day of April 2014, and it'll terminate without further notice. And other than that, it refers to the scope of work that the artist provided, which is a one-page explanation of what he's promised to do, which is to provide the concept and design work for 2 sculpture options for the park at 138th and Main that Jesse discussed. And that's basically it in a nutshell, unless you all have other questions, or if you wanted to explain.
No, that's pretty much
I
it.
don't. No other questions or comments?
No, I think it's a reasonable price.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion that we approve the contract between the City of East Chicago and Tom Terlumic.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
I don't know how you.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next on agenda, we have transfer of property, 5018 Alexander, a quick claim deed.
To give a tiny bit of history on this, I have an email, but I couldn't find our resolution. Apparently last year, and I think it was in about July or so, we did resolution number 2013-08, transferring this property from the Board of Works to redevelopment, but we were informed by redevelopment that apparently it didn't have the proper legal description. So they're asking us to redo the deeds and the sales disclosure form with the proper legal description. And they supplied the legal description, I think, both times, but they definitely supplied it in this one. So they're asking us to re-execute the documents now that they've been corrected. And it'll be their responsibility to record the deed and the sales
Okay.
disclosure form.
Any questions on, comments on this?
Nope.
Now entertain a motion that we approve the quick claim deed between the City of East Chicago.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes. Can we do a motion just to be sure that we also execute the sales disclosure form,
Okay,
which is attached?
so entertain a motion that we approve the sales disclosure form or
That we execute it.
execute the sales disclosure form?
Yeah. So,
Okay. Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
yes.
Next, we have Resolution 2014-12, transfer of 3822 Catalpa and quitclaim deed. And this is a transfer of property owned by the City of East Chicago to the East Chicago Housing Authority. there, anybody speak on this, or?
Hello, Board. My name is Tia Cawley, Executive Director for East Chicago Housing Authority. We own the property in 38th block of Catalpa, which is directly next door. We just purchased that through our METCHA, which is our non-for-profit. The empty lot is connected, and they actually thought it was ours when we bought it, but it was not. It belonged to the city. We need to, the building that we bought, we need to extend the porch because right now it's not up to city code. So for us to be able to expand, we would have to go into the city's property. So that was the reason why we're requesting the lot, and we would close it off. It would not be a parking lot. That was something that we did agree to. It'll be just a fenced off so that the kids would have a play area.
Oh, okay, so it'll be a green area then.
It will be a green area,
Okay.
and we will take care of the property.
So you all own 3824 Catalpa?
Yes. It's 3824-something, but it's directly next door.
There's no demolition on here, it's just empty?
It's just empty.
Okay.
Long time.
Right now, we have a ton of cars that are parking there and tearing up the area pretty bad. And we also have asked the police officers to go there on a regular basis because we've had some undesirables where they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So once we put a fence up there, and we plan on putting cameras eventually on the outside of that property like we do all of housings. That is not Housing Authority per se, that's our METCHA, that's our non-for-profit property.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
No.
No.
Okay, then I entertain a motion, we approve resolution number 2014-12, resolution of Chicago Board of Public Works establishing terms and conditions for the transfer of certain property owned by the City of East Chicago, commonly known as 3822 Catalpa, to the East Chicago Housing Authority.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Resolution 2014-13, renewal of Westlaw contract.
Okay, I can speak to that. In 2011, the city entered into a 3-year agreement with Westlaw for, Westlaw is a legal database, and the law department needs a professional legal database basically to operate so we can know the current state of the law and cases and whatnot. So our contract from early 2011 has lapsed. And so this is a renewal of the contract. It's a 36-month renewal. It locks in the pricing, which is $360 a month, which is reasonable and fair. It's a reduction off what the normal commercial rates are. And I recommend that we accept it.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
No.
I entertain a motion that we approve Resolution 2014-13 for renewal of Westlaw contract for 36 months in an amount of $360 per month.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next we have Attorney David Weigel. We have a contract for litigation, provide services for the law department.
Yeah. And then we also have a separate one for the board work that he does, but
For the Board of Health and Human Rights Commission.
yeah. So this for litigation is the same terms as last year, which he invoices us at the rate of $125 an hour, not to exceed $60,000. He has to bill us monthly. There's a clause in here about timely invoicing and provide detailed billing statements. He has to give status reports, and all the other clauses are just the uniform stuff that we do in all the attorney contracts.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
No.
Being no questions or comments, I entertain a motion for approval of a 2014 contract between the City of East Chicago and Attorney David Weigel for litigation, the amount of $125 per hour, not to exceed $60,000.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay. I'll also entertain a motion for approval of 2014 contract between the City of East Chicago and Attorney David Weigel for legal services to the Chicago Board of Health and the Human Rights Commission for the amount of $125 an hour, not to exceed $45,000.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jethro Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have the contract for legal services with Augustine Kupler? Yes, I can.
I think it's Austin
Austin?
Coopier, but don't quote me on it. They do work for the Plan Commission and BZA, and their terms are also same as last year, which is $125 an hour, not to exceed $20,000.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
No.
Entertain a motion, we accept the 2014 contract for legal services between the City of Chicago and Augustine Kupler for the amount of $125 per hour, not to exceed $20,000.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jethro Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next we have a contract for legal services between the City of East Chicago and Algier Boswell.
Yes, Attorney Boswell serves the Board of Safety, and his terms are also the same as previous years, which is $125 an hour, not to exceed $15,000 for the year, and all the other standard clauses are in there about timely billing and status reports and all that. So,
Any questions or comments?
Nope.
no.
Entertain a motion that we accept the contract for legal services between the City of East Chicago and Attorney Algier Boswell.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jethro Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, that brings us to right-of-way applications from the Engineering Department.
The first application number is 14-2162. It's a heavy load permit. Description: hauling between Middle, East, and West lands via Klein Avenue, Michigan 129 Dickey Road. Next permit, 14-0163. It's another heavy load permit. Description: hauling overweight load via Dickey Road, Michigan Avenue, Ryder Road, and Canal Street, and Indiana Harbor. And the third one and the last one, it's 14-0164. It's another heavy load permit. Location: Middle. Description: hauling between Middle East and Middle West plants. That concludes the permits.
Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Entertain a motion that we accept City of East Chicago Board of Public Works permit applications 14-02162 through 14-0264.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jethro Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes. Did we do that?
Jesse said this, we already took care of this on one bud, right? That's already, appeal's been,
Yeah, they'll sign it. Yeah. It was not necessary to.
we'd have to take action.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, I found out.
That's okay. Thank you.
Okay, is there any old business?
No,
Is there any other business?
no.
That concludes all our business. Our next regular meeting will be Wednesday, March 26, 2014, at 4:30 p.m. There being no other business, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jethro Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you to the East Chicago Board of Public Safety. If we could begin by our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Richard Morrisville.
Present.
Thomas Davis.
Present.
Richard Tremzinski.
Present.
We have our minutes from the last meeting of February 26th. Are there any questions about them?
I have none.
I have none either.
Entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I so move.
I second the motion.
Roll call.
Richard Morrisroe,
Accept.
Thomas Davis,
Accept.
Richard Tremzinski.
Accept.
Do we have any correspondence, Madam Secretary?
We do not.
We're going to hold on to the Police Merit Board. That statutory election is for the Police Merit Board. And Commander Verbish is going to come back in after he confers with the Corporation Council on that matter. So Fire Chief, would you please come forward? I'd like to welcome you, Chief Perez.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Board. I am coming before you this evening to respectfully request that you accept my training, attendance, fire prevention, and equipment reports as presented.
I had one curious question. I was curious as to engine number 2. How is it, is that the one that goes to EMS calls as well as to fire call? Is that
They
why
all go to EMS.
How is it that
calls.
it has 3-4 times as many miles traveled? I was just curious. Engine number 2.
Engine number 2 is actually Michigan and Guthrie, and that's one of our busier stations.
And it also ends up having to travel more since it's at the far
Yeah,
corner of the
if you look at number of alarms,
Yes, I saw that.
engine number
51.
1 had 15, engine number 2 had 51.
Right, and yet, on the other hand, the rescue number 2 had 47, almost the same number of alarms, and had only 280.
Engine number 2 travels Klein Avenue also, so they may go to an accident, say on Michigan, or, so they,
It's not to say it shouldn't be what it is. I'm
Right,
just
right.
curious as to
No,
how come
absolutely,
they
sure.
travel so much.
yep, they're a busier station, and you'll find that in most, if you go back, most of your reports will reflect that.
I have no further questions. Do you have any questions?
No.
No,
Any
I
questions?
have none, Chief.
Thank you very much.
We will accept a motion to accept the package that you've submitted, the training report, equipment report, absentee report, and Fire Prevention Bureau report, all for February of 2014.
Thank you very much.
I'll make a motion to accept this report.
Second.
Roll call.
Richard Morrisroe,
Accept.
Thomas Davis,
Accept.
Richard Tremzinski.
Accept.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief.
Could have Commander Verbish now at this point.
Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, Commander.
I didn't get back with the Carla Morgan yet, and this in regards to setting up an election to have somebody, Alfonso Breones' term is up on the merit board, and he has to be replaced, and we have to have an election to do that. And Carla's
May
going
he be a candidate, or he has to go off at this point?
I'd have to check on the rules with that,
Okay.
but I do believe he could still be a candidate. I'm going to have to double check on that.
But in addition to the dates, you'll be handling a nomination process as well.
That's correct. And I got to get with the rules, and there was some discrepancies that happened in the last election, and we're going to avoid all this. Chief Becker asked me to come. He's out of town at this time. And he said he would handle the election to make sure that it's run properly and in accordance with the rules that Carla Morgan provides us with.
And you also have Attorney Levinson at this point working
That's
with you as
right.
well. So
Yes.
we think you're in good hands.
We were hoping to get a date for the election as soon as possible, but
Do you want us to set a tentative date and subject to coming in and changing that date the next meeting?
yes.
Why don't you give us your suggestion, and we'll set that as the tentative date?
I'd like to see it next month about this time.
Would you want to see it, there's no need to see it before the next, well, if you wanted us to accept the election result, it should be then before our first meeting in April, but it could be our second meeting in April. I mean, that'd give you enough time to wrap it up and not have people accuse you of, trying to jam it quickly. It could be the second, what is that date for the second Wednesday in April?
The second Wednesday in April is the 9th,
I'm sorry,
April 9th.
The second meeting, though.
April 9th, and then the other one would be April 23rd.
Okay.
Now, you could pick it to have it, for instance, April, let's say, 9th to the 12th. What, is there a certain day you prefer to have it on?
No, the only thing that I'm worried about is making sure that the proper notification's out, and I don't know if it's 2 weeks prior to the election. And so I don't want to pick a date, and it's 3 weeks before the election. That's what's holding me back
Well, why
right
not
now.
pick a date, and we'll leave it to your discretion. You'll notify us before it's fixed, okay?
Okay.
Is that all right? We'll entrust them to pick that date.
That would be better.
And pick it to either plan to report back to us either April 9th or April 23rd, depending how, after you've gone over with Counselor Morgan and Chief Becker and Ms. Levinson.
Okay, how about, I don't want it on April 15th, of course. People are busy enough on April 15th.
That's right.
as it is. How about we shoot for April 10th? That's a Thursday, I believe, and it's the second Thursday in April,
And it's after our,
right after your meeting. So we would report back on April 23rd.
we'll leave it, we'll set it that as tentative, but letting you know that you feel free to come back in if it does, the mechanics don't work out based on the calendar.
I'll make sure that I stay in correspondence with you guys and
Probably best to stay in correspondence with Olga, is that all right? With,
yes.
yeah, so we're looking tentatively at April 10th for the election, and that'll be 6 to 6 as last time?
I do believe we should have all the parameters in place to make sure it's held in the proper, within the proper way. And I don't know if it has to be 6 to 6. We're going to check on that. It seems like that was an awful long time period, and we didn't need to.
You could have had it between the two shifts rather than,
8 to 4 seems like it's a very reasonable time frame for me, but that's just my thoughts on this. I will check with Carla Morgan as to what we're allowed to do and not allowed to do in this, because that 6 to 6 is an awful long time to spend in there, and just, we're talking, we only have, right now, I think we're at 92 police officers with, and that's including the chief and the 9 new hirees we have. And here's Carla.
we may be able to answer right now.
Yes.
Ms. Morgan, what we were looking at was tentative things, and he was tentatively looking at Thursday, April 10th, the day after our next Board of Safety meeting. And he just wondered whether that gave him enough time to advertise and to set up the mechanics for a proper election. He was also wondering if they could do it from 8 to 4 rather than 6 to 6, and that with 80-some officers, to have an election place open from 6 to 6 seemed to be a little bit lengthy.
I have a little handout, and I can explain that answers a few of those questions. Some, I don't see where the law speaks to the exact time. As long as every shift can vote, then they can.
3 weeks' notice.
Chief Burbidge would know way more about that than I do. But the law says, and it's Indiana Code 36-8-3.5-8, that this board has to give at least 3 weeks' notice of the election. They call it the meeting for the purpose of holding the election, but it's the election, same thing. So as long as the date is 3 weeks from today, then any date is acceptable. As far as, and active members of the police department can attend and actually vote. So you have to be active, and again, Deputy Chief Burbidge could talk more about who's active versus who's retired or.
But if you have to have it open for 3 shifts, you're not going to get away with the 8 to 4. The 4 on the one hand you would,
Right.
but you may have to start it earlier.
They don't get off work till 7 o'clock, so 7 to 4 would still, should suffice.
Okay.
And I think that's plenty of time to have a reasonable.
They don't have to vote during their shift?
No.
No, okay.
There's going to be guys that are off, guys that are on vacation, and I think that affords them plenty of time to come in.
To come in
Even
and-
if it was 7 to 5, but the 6 to 6, I think is.
Well, no, but 7 to 4 is, if that seems like it'll do it, to do that.
Let's go 7 to 5.
Okay.
And just to cover other things that are on what I just handed you, is that notice has to be posted around the police station that states the place, the time, and the date, and the fact that it's an election. So all officers have a reasonable chance to be notified of what's going on.
Will 1 week be enough time to put the notices out, to have them up 3 weeks before the election?
Yes, yes,
No, you can start doing this tomorrow or the next day.
that's correct.
Okay,
We'll have enough time.
okay,
It's 4 weeks from tomorrow.
right.
So we'll get it done in that week's period, no problem. And I think we held it in the gym last time. I don't think we have to have it out in the lobby, and the gym is fine. They're all active members. They all have access to that part of the building. And I think that, and it's a place where all of us can go.
Neutral turf.
Right, there you go. That's a good term for it.
When we tried to have, we had, my 2 co-members both attended for some hours.
Yeah.
I was not as dutiful as I should have been, but we did try to cover it for some of the hours to be there. So,
I think with Chief Becker at the helm, I don't think we'll have any problems in that regard.
and just to
good.
be sure to let Ms. Levinson know and have her in touch with Ms. Morgan to the extent that would help things or move it along, and make sure we don't leave any T's uncrossed or I's undotted.
And the last bullet point I had here was, 2 things. One is that the law says that the election must be announced during roll call, again, so everybody's aware of it. And then the last point is about who can be candidates, which is covered in the second state law I gave you, which is in Indiana Code 36.8 3.5-6, which is the 2 people who are elected by the active members of the police department. They cannot be of the same political party. So on this go-round, it's the Democrat who's getting elected. The Republican has 2 more years left on his term, because they're staggered terms, so we don't.
Mr. Peterson was a Republican?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's a
Yeah.
Republican. So each candidate has to have been a legal resident of East Chicago for at least 3 consecutive years immediately preceding the election. And they show that by their voting record. If there's a question, we call the county election board.
What-
And then,
One question, could you have 8 candidates and then require a runoff, or what happens?
and the law is silent on that too. It's just a simple majority. So I guess if you split the vote 8 ways, whoever's the biggest vote getter would be it. Unless, like I said, the law doesn't get real specific unless you all set specific rules in advance that will govern that kind of thing. So, and I guess another mechanism would be we need a ballot to make sure that the people who are running actually.
But it
have
seemed
been
if you had more than 3 candidates, you ought to consider at least a runoff mechanism of some kind.
Well,
Otherwise, you may have people stringing out, putting in a bunch of,
if this board set a deadline, because again, the law is silent on it, if you set a deadline for people to register to be candidates.
file.
Yeah, then you could see if it's necessary to set a runoff, number 1. Number 2 is we'd have an opportunity to verify have people been residents of East Chicago for the 3 years preceding. Number 1, and then if you're saying I'm registering as a Democratic candidate, then we could make sure that, you are actually a Democrat, or
What
kind of
does-
have a reasonable.
When you're giving the 3-week notice, are you also saying who the candidates are at that time?
No, you just announce that there is an election, you don't have to post a ballot or anything like that.
But is there some deadline for filing?
The law, these are the two parts of the law that are given in the code.
But it would seem that we'd want to have something firm in terms of candidates like a week before.
But then I would suggest, because you all as a board set the rules for the election, so you have one more meeting to go this month. So you can either say, you can do a number of things. One suggestion is that candidates, apply to be candidates to this board by that day.
Do they apply to us?
You set the rules, so.
Okay.
So you can decide the rules, and then you would have a ballot done by then. You could have the law department, meaning, me or your board attorney, check to make sure they've been residents and they have some reasonable claim to being in the party they claim to be in.
Should we have the law department prepare the ballot then, or
We can,
Okay.
either way, we're available to you, and this is a priority, so we'll make sure we're available.
Olga, would you feel more comfortable having the law department prepare the ballot, or do you want to prepare the ballot? Or?
I would think the law department, I haven't prepared the ballot.
Ms. Maroso, so that we could get all this right, why don't, instead of the tentative date being April 10th, why don't we look at May 15th? That's another,
Well, one problem is we're kind of up against time to get this done. We actually should have, I spent much of this year with flu, and we really should have asked you earlier in the year to do it, so I'd be
Okay.
real reluctant to wait until May.
okay, April 10th.
24th? Do April 24th then, the day after that following meeting?
But I would ask you to let's try for April 10th, just because we're behind. We should have done it.
Okay,
Commissioner?
we'll leave it at April 10th, and we'll try to get it done.
Okay, and let's have them file with the secretary of the board. I mean, in other words, they can come and give, should we have some kind of sheet to prepare? Could you, just something, John Jones, want to be a candidate.
And if they would leave with a copy of it, just so nobody has any question as to whether they made the deadline. And again, you all can decide now what the deadline is.
Well, I suggest we do that. I mean, that we set that deadline for the 2nd or 3rd of April. In other words, people can be a candidate anytime up till then. Why don't we make it the close of business on the 3rd? That's a week before that. April 3rd by 4 p.m. and to file notice of intent. Are you in town some of those days, or are you going to be out of?
I will be returning the 2nd.
You'll be returning the 2nd. You're leaving when?
I'm leaving the 25th of March.
Could we do it with Dina then? Rather than having people coming to file and she's not there.
That'd be fine with me.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay.
And to file by 4 p.m., April 3rd. Now, it seems if we have more than, I don't know if we want to determine it now or wait until then, if we have more than 3 or 4 candidates, it seems in fairness, there should be some kind of runoff mechanism rather than just candidates stringing out the voters to keep a clear result from happening, and then not having a lot of peace on the ranks when you have somebody who was one of 8 candidates and had 10 votes and the next person had 8 votes. Again, Mr. Verbish, I'm really asking for your, I'm just thinking out loud. What do you think?
I'd be happy with just going with the highest number of votes. I understand what you're saying, but I don't see that being a problem at this time with them putting extra people in the run. It could happen, but how would the runoff be conducted then? When did they just?
Well, it'd be another date, another notice. Let me ask.
Well, would they just eliminate the bottom half, or,
They'd eliminate all but, usually all but the top two.
okay. So how much would that affect the exact, what, you think it would have that big an effect on the, we're talking about 92 people having a possible vote in this.
You know the troops better than I do.
Okay. Okay, if
I mean,
we
if you
set
think
it up for a
if you think
runoff,
the troops are all going to get behind someone, you won't have this problem.
and the other, could Briones run again, or is he eliminated
No,
this
he
time?
can run again.
Okay. So, okay. I think we get the election results, and then if we need to have a runoff, we would just set the date.
Well,
Would that work for you?
it won't be unfair, it should be something of
It should be,
notice
sure.
that if there are more than
3 candidates.
three seem reasonable, if they're,
Yeah.
That seems reasonable.
let's then set it at 3 by consensus. If there are more than 3 candidates, there'll be a runoff if necessary, if one has not gotten a majority among the highest 2.
Okay.
And another note about candidates is that candidates cannot be active members of the department. They can't be on the payroll, so it can't be somebody like if I declare I'm going to retire, but I'm using all my vacation, I'm still getting a city paycheck, I'm not eligible to run, so you have to be actually retired.
Retire.
Disconnected.
Yeah. So that was a question, a big question during the election day last year.
Was Briones in that gray area of,
No.
No,
We
it
always
was,
get fined.
but there was another candidate who,
yes.
Who had declared that he was going to retire, but he wasn't actually retired yet.
He was still on the payroll at the time.
yeah. And he just lost? Or was he disqualified?
You know what, I'm not sure on the election results on that day.
Apologize.
I got a certified result from Lieutenant Rivera, and I believe Briones won flat out.
Okay.
Apologize, I have a unexpected cramp.
Okay.
And I guess then the last issue is that whomever runs the election for you, and I understand it'll be the chief, he has to give you certified election results. And the sooner the better, really, because the sooner there's certainty on everything, the less confusion there'll be.
Well, we're setting it the 10th, we're leaving a gap of almost 2 weeks. If you set it the 17th, you have a 6-day gap.
But if
In terms
I'm sure
of,
the chief won't have a problem with it, it's just what were the vote totals, and he signs it and gives it to the board or the board
will it be
secretary.
public at that time?
As soon as he certifies it to the board, then it'll be public, so he could give it the next day or something like that.
The 11th, and
As soon as you all have received it, or, Olga marks it received, then if you want to make it public at that time, again, these are your decisions. I'm just making a suggestion. Because what that starts is there's a limited amount of time if somebody wants to contest the election. And that's another question I got to look up. I think that I can't remember if it's until the next Board of Safety meeting or if it was 10 days, but it was a limited amount of time to contest, and hopefully nobody will want to contest. So my basic suggestion is that you ask the chief to certify the election results within either 24 or 48 hours after the election, and certify it by giving, a signed vote total to Olga as the board secretary, who then will relate it to you all. But that starts the clock ticking on anybody who wanted to contest, and I hope we don't get that, but I just want to.
should we make it 24 or 48 hours? Which do you prefer?
Well, I think the one that we just talked about would be
The 48 hours or the 24
the
hours?
24 hours.
We simply ask that it be certified, let's say by 9 o'clock on that, well, no, that Friday the election is Thursday, so by 4 o'clock or by 5 o'clock on Friday, the 11th.
We're not getting in the whole week. I need to look at the calendar, but Just to make sure everybody's at work and stuff. I don't,
No, but I mean, if we have the election going till 5 o'clock on Thursday, the 10th, if he's going to do it because of Friday and the weekend, he's either going to get it to us Friday by 5, or we're going to wait till Monday.
okay, I was just thinking out loud about when Easter week is. But I think we're fine.
I have that in my calendar. Do you have your calendar? Do you have when Easter is?
Yeah, it's April 20th, so we're fine.
Fine. So certification would be requested by Friday, the 11th of April at 5 o'clock.
Okay, I think that sounds fine. Do you all have any other questions for me that I?
And then in the event of a required runoff, I would say we would try to do that within 2 weeks afterwards. Is that, we don't have to post it another 3 weeks, do we?
I think 3 weeks would be safe, given that, like, I'd have to go and look this law up in Westlaw and see I was run off before. So how about, me or Attorney Boswell just be better prepared to advise you on the runoff at your next meeting?
Okay, that's fine. I want to thank both of you for coming and for helping us to set out some of the parameters in the event there's a short number of filings, then we don't have this problem.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
You're very welcome. Is there anything else you would want to bring up, or any questions that we can answer for you before?
Just how much I miss you guys.
Well, we'd like to see you once a month.
I'll see if I can't do that.
You or someone else from your shop.
Nice to see you,
Thomas
man.
feels, that it's
Yeah, it would be nice if some of you did show up once in a while.
I'll talk to Chief Becker and I'll see.
when
if
he
we can
came,
arrange
he
that.
came to one of the other meetings, and he had to report some things with Attorney Levinson to the Board of Works, but he stayed and he in about 10 or 15 minutes gave a wonderful summary of different kinds of actions that were going on, and I think it's good to inform the public as well as the Board of Works and Board of Safety.
I'll advise him and see if we can't oblige you with that suggestion.
Thank you, Commander.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Morgan.
Ms. Mo. Thank you.
I was looking at the agenda, our next regular meeting, Wednesday, March 26th, 5:30. Any, is that acceptable to all?
Yes. Acceptable.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
I second the motion.
Roll call.
Richard Morrisroe,
Adjourn.
Thomas Davis,
Adjourn.
Richard Trumzinski.
Adjourn.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your attendance and for helping us work our way through the police civil service election process. Thank you.
Have a good time.
That's the one they did.